guys, it's me again, and I want to make another video. I uploaded a video earlier today, but I want to make a new one because I didn't upload videos for almost 2 weeks now, and I think I should do more, especially now that I gained lots of subscribers the last weeks and months. So the topic I chose is city or cities, and I'm gonna ask the question here: are cities a cesspool of degeneracy, or are cities by standard, if you want to call it like that, degenerate? So let's start. Yeah, what is a city? Well, a city is a big settlement of humans, and the definition of a city changes from country to country. For example, I know that in Germany, at least, and that's what I learned at school, if a place, a settlement, whatever you want to call it, has at least 10,000 inhabitants, then it can be called a city. In Japan, for example, if a place, a settlement, has at least 50,000, I believe it was 50,000 inhabitants, then it can be called a city. If the number is less, then it's a village. And I believe in Iceland, if a place has a population of at least 200, then it's already called a city there. But in Iceland it's something else, because Iceland has a population far under 500,000 inhabitants, so 200 people living in a place seems pretty reasonable to be called a city. Yeah. And of course, other countries have other definitions of when a place is called a city. So if we come back to the origin of the word city, for example, city means in German Stadt, and it means like Standort, Stelle, Stadt or Städte, and translated into English it's like how should I call it, like it has different meanings, but you can basically say it's like general business area. In earlier times, like in the Middle Ages and in ancient times, cities were places where lots of business happened, markets, and so on. And least from my understanding. But like I said, nobody really can define what defines a city. So, about modern times, we have lots of cities with millions of inhabitants, or even tens of millions of inhabitants, like New York City, Los Angeles, Moscow, Nairobi, New Delhi, Paris, Rome, Seoul, Singapore, Shanghai, whatever you wanna call it. And it wasn't always like that. Like 200 years ago, most people lived in rural areas, in the village, on the countryside. Yeah, you know it. And of course, that's a product of the Industrial Revolution. When the Industrial Revolution started, the people from the rural areas moved into the cities to look for work. And this trend basically continues until now. Yeah, but back to the overall question. Are cities accessible of degeneracy, or are cities degenerate by nature? I'm sure that many of you, especially of you conservatives, right-wingers, you know that in major cities, people tend to vote more left-wing and neoliberal politics. Of course, not every city is like that. According to my research, for example, many say that Dallas, Texas, in the USA it's a big city, but the people there are very conservative. But on the other hand, Austin, Texas, it's a very left-wing city. And of course, cities like Los Angeles or New York City, they are very liberal, very left-wing. And of course, here in Germany, cities like Berlin, Hamburg, Munich, they are very liberal, but they are very big cities. On the other hand, rural areas, like places like in the USA, for example, North Dakota, South Dakota, Kansas, Nebraska, rural Texas, the rural South in general, they vote very conservative, and they have far less people there. Yeah, I know that some of you watching that video will disagree, that they will say liberal politics is a good thing, and yeah. Okay, it's your opinion, but I spoke about politics now, that rural areas are more conservative, right-wing, and cities are, or tend to be very left-wing, neoliberal, woke, if you want to call it like that, woke. So, but there are other things that bother me about the city life. For example, there are many people, and of course it means lots of noises from vehicles, from other humans, and so on. And of course you don't really have your privacy, because if you live in a, I don't know, in a flat like New York City or Los Angeles and so on. Yeah, you can hear your neighbor even during the night and so on. And I think that it's really messing with your mental state, things like that. And what I really noticed is that people who live in the city, of course not all, but many of them say that they feel very, very lonely, and it's kinda contradictive because we have so many people living there in one place, but there are so many people who are lonely. Yeah, don't you think it's a bit contradictive? On the other hand, people who live in rural areas, in villages or small cities, they tend to know each other, tend to stay together and so on. They are more friendly and they don't feel so lonely there. And from my understanding is many people say many people who lived in very big cities like Tokyo, New York City, Hong Kong, or whatever you want to call it, is in those cities people don't really care who you are because there are so many. It's like an ocean. You're just a number. You're just slave, like working for corporations whatsoever. And people don't really care about your problems. They have too many of their own, so they don't want to talk to you. They don't care about your problems, about your mental state whatsoever. They don't want to hang out with you, and because of reasons like that, I think many people cannot make friends. They cannot find partners in major cities, and that's why they feel so lonely. And another thing I want to mention is that, of course, crime rates tend to be always higher in cities than in rural areas. It's I would say it's in every country on earth like that. And cities are like how should I say, it's a place where degenerates are searching for constant stimulation and constant pleasure, because in cities you have all these degenerates, nightclubs, brothels. You know what I mean, right? All that places that are not seen as something conservative, honorable by people like me, who is conservative. And it's like I believe people in the city, not only in degenerates, but people in general, they are searching for constant stimulation, and they cannot really find it, and that's why they of the reasons why we have so much depression nowadays, especially in the Western world. Yeah, and yeah. What else can I say about the city? Yeah, you probably noticed it already that I make this video from a conservative right-wing standpoint, but I don't want to bash people who live in the cities. It's just thoughts that came to me regarding city life, and I wanted to know your opinion about that. Am I wrong? Am I right? And yeah, I really would like to know your opinion about that. Yeah, you can say I'm talking nonsense, it's all fine, but from my perspective, from the people I know that lived or still live in major cities, they tend to be like this. They tend to be very depressive. They have lots of mental issues. I, for example, read that if you go like to the forest, to nature, you see green grass. It has a positive effect on your soul and on your body, because the soil, no matter in which country you're living, it has these natural, yeah, I don't know how to say, natural elements, hormones. I guess I can say it, or it signals these hormones in your body that you're gonna feel good. For example, if I go to the forests, I feel very happy. It brightens my heart, and if I see nature in general, I'm very happy, no matter how hard my day was. And I'm happy that the city I live is not too big. I live near the countryside, and we have lots of farmers here in my area, and they are cultivating the land, and I'm happy for that, because I prefer to live in nature, like green areas, forests, trees, and so on. Cities can be beautiful, I agree with that. All these skyscrapers and high buildings, it looks impressive what humans can build, but many people don't see the downsides of the city. They just see the architecture, and that's it. They don't see the downsides of a city that I just mentioned, that people get depressive there, lonely, nihilistic, and so on. Yeah. I believe that's everything I have to say about the city, and I'm very interested what you think about it. And I want to make it clear again, I don't want to bash people who live in the city. It's just my observation that I made. if you are happy living in a city, then I'm happy for you as well. So let me guys think. Let me guys know what you think about this video. I see you guys next time. Stay safe. God bless.